Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I'm Agam Vakil. Well, on this day, we see a recovery and the Nifty closes above the mark of 12,000. We do have a lot more gainers as compared to losers today. So, well, that recovery is of significant value. We've seen gains in Vedanta, Z Entertainment, Ultratech Cement, UPL and HDFC Bank. In fact, it's HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries providing a bulk of gains today. On the losing end, we have Bharti Infratel, BPCL, Infosys and Bharti Airtel. A little bit of volatility seeping into Infosys ahead of earnings this coming Friday. On the NSE 500, the picture is not very different. Two gainers for one loser, and well, an opposite of what we saw yesterday in terms of the advanced decline. ITI standing out with gains of around 13%. I'm going to talk about that in just a bit. We have gains in something like a Swan Energy, IFL Finance, Future Consumer, as well as Gujarat Narmada. And look at Dixon Technologies. It's up another 7%, going from strength to strength at life highs at about the 4,200 rupee mark. MCX is also something that we will talk about in just some time. On the losing end, however, under pressure, some of your ADAG companies for now, Reliance Infra, Reliance Capital, Gen Irrigation also down another 5% along with Syngene and Lakshmi Vilas Bank. But I'm going to get in our markets editor, Neeraj Shah, for his thoughts on the markets right now. Neeraj, a recovery of sorts. We haven't completely recovered all the losses that we saw yesterday. And in midday today, we saw a little bit of nervousness come back in, but we saw that being bought into.
Yeah, I think we've today, throughout the day, I think all of us have maintained that I think everybody will be taking it one day at a time, and I think that would be a more prudent approach, because you don't know. We were speaking to Alistair Newton and he mentioned that you can't write this crisis off, so you don't know what Iran would do. Maybe none of the sides can afford anything but just to up the rhetoric, and that might have a bearing on the markets as well. So let's wait and watch. Maybe how Europe ends and Dow futures behave, and Dow actually does, might have some bearing too. But you'd have to admit that from a banking perspective, it's a bit of a disappointing day, Agam, because we were up about 1.9% at the start of the trading day, and we're ending just about 0.5% lower, with all the key components like SBI, etc., still ending in the red. So it's a bit of a disappointment there. But net, a bit of a recovery from yesterday's session. I think it's a day at a time, at least as far as the global issues go, and then we'll have our own earnings starting, so maybe that'll have stock-specific impact any which ways. Right, absolutely. We'll be watching out for that. Neeraj, thanks for that perspective there. So, well, moving on, let's address a sector which has been buzzing today, and that's the cement sector. I'm going to get in Nikki Mirchandani to talk to us about what's happening there. Nikki, what are the updates?
We're finally seeing price hike coming through. North is seeing a price hike. So is the case with East, West and South. These three regions have taken a 20 rupee per bag hike. If you look at the other regions that have also participated in the rally, is North India and Central India, 10 rupee per bag hike there. And also a Spark dealer check report suggests that there is a further potential of price hike going forward in the second half of this month itself, given that the construction activities have now started picking up, especially after the festive season is past us. So that's one positive bit that is going around for the cement sector as a whole. This is around the second or third consecutive session, or maybe in the last 1 week, that we've seen that the stocks are actually participating in the rally. It's for a long overdue price hike, which is now, you know, the pricing power seems to be revisiting the sector. But then let's also bear in mind the fact that this is also the season when prices actually do uptick. Sure. So going forward with that, we're expecting some amount of further momentum coming through. Okay, well, Nikki, thanks for getting us those updates on the cement sector. Currently on the rise. We want to address two other companies in terms of the third quarter earnings as well as updates. I'm going to start off with ITI. That's the big mid-cap mover in today's day of trade. In fact, as you can see, it's gained as much as 13.5% today as the top NSE 500 gainer. Well, the reason here is that its revenues have risen 47% and profit has risen 12.5 times on a year-on-year basis. And we've also seen its EBITDA gain registered for the company for the third quarter as against an EBITDA loss year on year. We spoke to the management, and this management has said that this is largely on account of new projects that the company has taken up very recently. And in fact, about 70% of their overall turnover comes from these new projects, and they're confident of achieving their MOU target of over 3,300 crores for the fourth quarter. The other company which is in focus, and that's a part of the
Nifty 50, HDFC Bank, which also came out with its third quarter update, and they are saying that they've seen a strong performance in terms of loans and deposits. Their advances have grown 20%, their deposits have grown 25%, and their CASA ratio stands at around 39.5% against 40.7% quarter on quarter. And that, of course, augurs well for the prospects of the bank, which has anyways been very consistent over the past few years, many years, in fact, when it comes to, well, the earnings update. And the bank continues to gain market share at an accelerated pace. So these are the two stocks, one from the mid cap and one from the large cap, which is standing out. But we also have MCX, which is in focus. I'm going to get Sharan Dubey to talk to us about that. Sharan.
Yeah, Agam, the stock reacted quite positively today. The stock was up almost 7% today. So basically, SBI Cap Securities had come out with its note, in which they stated that they have maintained a buy rating for the stock and hiked the target price from around 1165 to 1330 rupees. So we see that the average daily traded volume turnover is expected to rise at almost 30,900 crore for the third quarter of FY20. And also the broker stated that the volatility which will be seen in the geopolitical tensions which we are seeing, and also the trade wars, will actually augur well, as the demand for bullion and energy segments will keep the company busy. Apart from this, there is also growth seen in the trading options, and as Deutsche Bank will be coming in as a custodian to provide services in the commodity derivative section. So that will be something which will be like an institutional participation. So that will really augur well. Now if you pulled out the ARR function for MCX, so overall itself, SBI Cap Securities, we had talked about it, the target price have been hiked by almost 1330 rupees. Now overall, the consensus rating says that almost 89% of analysts who are tracking the stocks have kept a buy holding on it, and for the holding option, that's almost 11%. The stock has actually run up, so the return potential is a negative of -4%, and the 12-month target price is set at almost 1222 odd rupees. So that is the reason why MCX we saw a rally today, Agam, and going forward there's going to be a more interesting space as volatility comes in.
Okay, all right, Sharan, thanks for getting us those updates. Well, on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.